Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for joining me. For today's video, I have palettes that are hyped up on YouTube or just on social media in general, and I want to let you guys know, are these palettes worth the hype? Because time and time again do I go on the internet and I see another palette, like every week it's something new, and I'm just like, really? Like, can it be that good? So I have a bunch of palettes here I want to talk about. Some are limited edition and then others are permanent, and I just want to talk about them, let you guys know whether or not I think these palettes are worth it. First one I want to talk about is the Anastacio Modern Renaissance palette. I bought this back in November, so I've had mine almost a year, and this is what mine looks like. It's a very warm tone palette, so if you're not a fan of warm tone shadows, do not get this. But if you love warm tone shadows, I would highly recommend checking this out, because for the longest time I looked at this and I was like, ooh, those are not my kind of colors, but I absolutely love this palette. I will say it does have a little bit of fallout. The shadows blend like a dream, but I feel like when you are blending the shadows, you do get a little bit of fallout. At least I do on my outer corner. It's very easy to clean up, but I would just keep that in mind if you are somebody who is bothered by that. So I would recommend doing your eyes first and then going in with this palette. But overall, the pigmentation and the overall shadows in here are amazing, and I would highly recommend this palette if you haven't checked it out. You knew this was coming, right? The Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. I bought mine back when it first launched back a year ago in March or whatever, so I was one of the lucky people that got this the first time around. But this is what the palette looks like. It smells like peaches. I really like this palette. I know some people hate this palette and other people love this palette. I'm one of those people that loves this palette. If you haven't seen it, this is what it looks like. This Luscious shade right here is one of my favorites. This is what it looks like swatched, one swipe. I would say this is one of the better Too Faced eyeshadow palettes out there. I use this over my chocolate bar palettes. I just love the overall color selection that was in here. I just think this is an all-around great palette, and it's pigmented, and I would say the shadows are pretty easy to blend. The Georgia shade down here, I'm pretty close to hitting pan on. I think there's quite a big dip in it, and I overall love this palette. So again, I think it's well worth the money. Let's talk about the Morphe 35O palette. So I bought this, again, probably around the same time I bought my Modern Renaissance palette. And this is what the overall palette looks like. Now, everybody and their dog talked about this palette. I feel like this was sold out constantly, and if you wanted to get it and they restocked it, you better, you know, get on it, basically, is what it was. So again, this is, you know, a lot of warm tone eyeshadows, a lot of browns, a lot of, you know, neutral colors, and honestly, I don't really use this. I used it, you know, when I first got it, you know, a few times, and now I don't really use it, and this is the original 35O, by the way. But yeah, I don't think this is anything special or spectacular. I think there's better palettes out there for your money. Yeah, the shadows are pigmented and whatnot, but here's a few swatches. So the shimmers, I noticed kind of flake off on my eye a little bit, which, I mean, you know, I feel like that might be a problem with some palettes. You know, some of the shimmers might not be the best. You might need to build them up a little bit. But with this one, I feel like once I apply it to my eye, they just kind of blend away to nothing, and it's not my favorite palette, and I think there's better out there. 35O palette, I would honestly skip on. I mean, unless you're on a budget and you just want to try out warm tone shadows, then get this one. But if you know, have a lot of palettes like I do, I would say skip this one. So the next palette I want to talk about is the Awak Pro palette. This is just the original one now. This is a great palette, I think. You have a row of mattes and then a row of shimmer shades. As you can see, mine is used and abused. I have like pan on 4 shades, about to hit pan on a few other shades here. But yeah, I love this palette. I think it's a great palette if you like neutral shadows, and I feel like you can get like a ton of good looks out of this palette. But yeah, I would say if you are looking for a just all-around everyday palette, this is a really great option, and Lorac shadows do blend pretty nicely and the shimmers are insane, so I would highly recommend checking out the Lorac palettes. Well, this is fairly new to me, but I did want to mention it. This is the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette, and again, it's another warm tone palette, so this is what it looks like. Now, coming from me, I love this palette. I think it is well worth the money. The mattes are maybe a little bit difficult to blend, some of them, but others are super easy to blend. The shimmers are insane, like the Scorch shade is beautiful. He Devil is one of my favorite mattes in here. I mean, this palette I feel like I can do so much with. I just feel like it's a all-around beautiful palette, and I just think if you are somebody who loves warm tone shadow, this is a beautiful palette. Now, do I think the Modern Renaissance is a little bit better? I mean, they're totally different palettes, but I do think if you are looking for a warm tone palette, between the two, I would probably go with the Modern Renaissance, just because the shadows are easier to blend. This is fairly new to me, and this is the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill eyeshadow palette, and this is what it looks like. And compared to the 35O in this one, I would say if you're going to get one, get this one, because the shades in here are absolutely gorgeous. The shimmers blend like the shimmers are so nice and pigmented, and the mattes again are so buttery and soft, and I would highly recommend this palette over the 35O. The 35O, like I mentioned, the shimmers kind of flake away on me. This one, the Jaclyn Hill one, I feel like the shimmers go on beautifully, and they are so pigmented and just so buttery smooth. So here's a few swatches there. So overall, I would recommend this palette over the 35O. I know the Jaclyn Hill one is a little bit more expensive, but I think you get what you pay for. So those are some of the hyped up eyeshadow palettes that I think, you know, are worth it versus the ones that aren't. So let me know if you've tried out any of these palettes, whether or not you guys agree with me, or if you disagree with me, let me know as well, because I always welcome different opinions and whatnot. That's okay if we share similar opinions or if we share different opinions. Let me know what your thoughts are on these palettes down below. I would love to know, and I will talk to you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you later. Bye.